Jalen Duren back at Memphis. He's in that contract negotiation. Why is it so important, do you think, that he re-signs with Detroit?
It's very important because Jalen is a guy that, he wants to finish where he started. And he's very loyal, and he's gonna play his heart out for Detroit. And he wants to win a championship there. They've only scratched the surface, and with him being an all-star for the first time this year, his heart and soul is in Detroit. So hopefully that all works itself out.
All right, man. That's Penny Hardaway. Former coach at Memphis, former NBA All-Star, former, NBA legend. Saying that, Jalen Duren wants to be in Detroit. A lot of people feel differently, as you probably can see in this comment section. A lot of people are saying if he wanted to be here, he wouldn't be trying to get the full max. He wouldn't be talking about going to Sacramento. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist, thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. And, those tend to kind of be, those tend to kind of be the vibes. And it's a business, people are just looking at it as from a fan standpoint of view. Oh, take what you can get. And this is his livelihood on the line. This is generational wealth. If you can negotiate, all his leverage was going out the window. All the leverage went out the window, when he could no longer negotiate because he was restricted free agent and the Pistons didn't want to let him go. So, this is just chilly on the line. Everybody, it's easy to understand how you can look at it and it's not your life on the line or it's not your money on the line. Oh, just take it. It's a lot of money. When you start talking about taxes, you start talking about, what if I get hurt? This may be the last amount of money that I have. This is a serious measure. And anybody who's, a real head of their household, a real man, the top dude in their patriarchy of their family, you owe it to your family to get every dollar that you deserve. And if he want to, ride this out, if he want to ride this out to see, if he can just get as much money, so be it, because he technically hasn't came out and said anything. That's what we can say. He hasn't came out and said nothing. So to the people that's trying to say, well, he's saying this, and it's silence to say a lot of things, but it's just assumption. It's just people assuming that that's how he feels. And he never came out and said, I wanted to go to Sacramento. One of the things I can honestly say with my observation, if he did come out and start talking and saying he wanted out of here, he was vocal, I think we'll be at the point of no return. So if he really wanted out of here, he really wanted to mishandle this situation to the fullest effect, he would be publicly speaking. He'd be trying to save the organization to get him out of there. Now, it was another clip I wanted to show y'all too. I'm going to get to it in a second, where Norris Cole, said that allegedly Rich Paul was his agent at the time, that he allowed Rich Paul to handle, his contract. And it turned out that Rich Paul allegedly lost him $70 million, and he wasn't involved in the contract negotiation. He just thought, hey, it's my agent, I'm gonna let Rich Paul handle it. And he said, it ended up being a huge mistake, and maybe Jalen Duren maybe need to be a little more vocal in his situation and not letting his agent handle this in that way. Maybe he needs to step up and get in there. Now, the difficult part of stepping in there and getting in there and enter negotiation, being more hands-on, you don't have that bumper there no more. And sometimes that bumper is good. And what I mean, the agent is the bumper. He's pretty much like the filter. All the bad things they saying about you, as far as, how they don't see you as this, and this is why they want to give you, I'm going to get to the price point in a minute. This is why they want to give you this price point, and this is why they want to do this, and this is why they want to do that, and this is why they don't want to give you this. The agents just takes the negativity and filters it and tones it down for the player. But when the agent's no longer there, and the players directly talking to the organization a little bit more, that bumper is no longer there. So you're hearing all the things they don't like about you, or they have concerns about you, and then these players gonna feel a particular way. They're gonna feel a particular way. You know, so that's why the agent is important. But in general, at this point, then maybe he needs to take the wheel a little bit. Maybe he need to put the agents in the passenger seat. Maybe he needs to put the agent in the passenger seat. You know, and that's just my opinion on it. But it may be the agent messing it up. Their strategy might be bad, but at some point, he has to probably just say, you know what, hey, you know, I'm gonna sign this qualifying deal. I know for a fact if it was that bad, he'd be vocally coming out and speaking against the organization. If it was that bad, I think he would be, publicly speaking against the organization. So, I think people need to realize that as well. If it was that funky, that nasty, I think you would see a lot of negativity towards that organization. So we haven't got to that point yet, But I'm gonna let this ride for a minute. So I want y'all to see this interview, kind of regarding Norris Cole and stuff. So a lot of people brought up Asar Thompson them training with Mike Miller. So this is ironic that I wasn't even preparing to use this clip at all until I started shooting the video. Yesterday I had to reshoot.
I learned the hard lesson in the business of basketball, man. For y'all young fellas out there, when you have an agent, make sure you're involved in what's going on. Don't just let them handle stuff behind the scenes without you knowing. But it was my first time in free agency. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And so I had a powerful agent, and I let him do everything, all the negotiations. I didn't even think twice about it. But it did some bad negotiation. Just got to call it what it is, and I caught wind of it late. And I ended up firing them. And when you fire a powerful agent, of course they're gonna save face, and that's what happened. And tried to make it seem like I was the greedy one, which in reality I wasn't.
Yeah, that ain't you.
And so, that's what happened. So I ended up having to take a deal in China for a couple months, and then got injured out there, rehab 8 weeks, came back and got a chance in OKC, the Russell Westbrook triple-double year.
Yes.
But it was tough after that because once someone tries to damage your name and your reputation, and they're a person that has leverage and has is looked at as a powerful agent, it's tough to kind of recover. But I was able to recover and still play, never missed no meals, family and everybody's still good.
Listen.
Pops still retired. I was able to get the house I've always wanted, the cars I've always wanted, things like that. So I was able to recover, but I missed out on a lot because of that. Probably missed out 70, 80 million because of that.
All right, so you heard him. So, maybe Jalen Duren need to, reevaluate, how his agent moving and grooving. He said he missed out on about $70 million because his agent was being greedy and trying to make plays on his behalf, and that's messed up, because he was the one that got hurt at the end of the day, he the one that had to take that bullet. He the one, his reputation took that hit. And Jalen Duren probably need to see that clip. At some point when things get difficult, you can't, and I say this all the time, if people follow my different my channels, I say this all the time. Us as men, we can't not afford to know where the money coming from. We cannot not afford to know how the money work. We have to be involved. Because we're going to ultimately take the blame. We have to take accountability, for that. But the Pistons are reportedly been somewhere in 35, 38 million range annually for Jalen Duren and Duren contracts negotiations. So, that's so now we're kind of getting some numbers leaking out there. We kind of getting some money going out there. So yeah, it's not too surprising, bro. It's not too surprising. So I mean, yeah, we getting some numbers. So I think that's pretty cool. So we get the chance to see, they saying he want the max. They saying they willing to do 35, 38. But it may be a little bit more time to get hands-on. So that's my opinion on it. It may be time to get a little bit more hands-on the situation. and just not let this man control it. But hey, thumbs up the video, his agent. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Next subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance. Get notifications. We go live, we drop video. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, PayPal. Appreciate the love and support. Check out the Trey Pistons Talk playlist for more videos like this. Peace.